All right, let's just dive right in. With all this incredible AI technology everywhere, there's one giant question that I think is on everybody's mind. Is it secretly making us worse at, well, thinking?
I mean, the fear is totally real, right? When you can generate an email, a report, or even a piece of code with just a simple prompt, are we just outsourcing our own brains? Are we handing over our most valuable cognitive skill to a machine? In other words, is AI turning us all into lazy thinkers?
But here's the thing. This kind of anxiety, it's not new, not at all. We've seen this play out over and over again throughout history. Way back in ancient Greece, Socrates was worried that writing would destroy our ability to remember things. Fast forward to the 15th century, and people were panicking about the printing press. And hey, I'm sure many of us can remember when calculators were seen as the enemy in the classroom, threatening to make us forget basic math. Every major technological leap seems to come with a panic about what we're about to lose.
Now, there's actually a scientific term for this phenomenon. It's called cognitive offloading. It's our natural human tendency to let tools do the thinking for us. And there is a real risk here, something researchers call the ironies of automation. The idea is, when we automate all the routine everyday tasks, we don't get the daily practice we need to keep our skills sharp, and that can leave us totally unprepared when a real challenge finally comes along.
So, is this fear just a vague feeling, or is there any actual data to back it up? Well, for the first time, we actually have some solid answers. A recent landmark study surveyed 319 knowledge workers and analyzed almost 1,000 real-world examples of them using generative AI on the job. And what they discovered is pretty fascinating.
So, what did the data show? Well, in 59% of the cases, people reported that they were actively using critical thinking while using AI. So, case closed, right? Everything's fine? Not so fast. The real story is a whole lot more nuanced than that single number. This is where it gets really interesting. The study uncovered something they call the confidence paradox. It works like this. When our confidence in the AI is high, we tend to do less critical thinking. We just trust its output. But, and this is the kicker, when our self-confidence in our own ability to do the task is high, we actually engage in more critical thinking. It's like our own expertise empowers us to challenge the machine, not just blindly accept what it tells us.
And this leads us to the absolute core insight of the research. What's happening isn't a loss of critical thinking. It's a fundamental shift. The actual nature of our thinking is changing in a big way because AI is redirecting where we need to apply our mental energy.
The first big shift is removing from gathering to verifying. Think about it. The hard work used to be hunting down information. Now the AI does that in seconds. Our new job, our critical task, is to be the detective, to verify if what the AI spat out is accurate, relevant, or even, real.
Okay, shift number 2. We're moving from solving to integrating. So instead of having to build a solution from the ground up, we get a generic draft from the AI. Our critical thinking then kicks in to refine it, to mold its tone, and to integrate it into our specific projects so it meets our unique standards. We're not so much the builder anymore. We're more like the architect and the finisher.
And the final, and maybe the most important shift, is from executing to stewarding. We're no longer just the doer of the task, we are now the director. Our job is to guide the AI with smart prompts, to steer the whole process, and, most importantly, to take full responsibility for the final product. Accountability, it turns out, still rests with us. So, if our thinking is just shifting and not completely disappearing, why do we engage critically 100% of the time? Well, the study uncovered some very human barriers that tend to get in the way. They basically fall into 3 buckets. First, there's awareness. Sometimes we just look at a task and think it's too trivial to waste any deep thought on. Second, motivation. Let's be honest, we're all under pressure to be fast, not perfect. And third is ability. If you're using AI in a field you know absolutely nothing about, how can you possibly challenge what it says? You just don't have the knowledge base. And that motivation barrier is a really powerful one. A sales rep in the study just put it perfectly. He said, "The reason I use AI is because in sales, I must reach a certain quota daily or risk losing my job. Ergo, I use AI to save time and don't have much room to ponder over the result." Wow, that just says it all. The pressure for pure efficiency can completely squeeze out any space for critical thinking. When your job's on the line, speed often beats depth.
So where does all of this leave us? Well, the answer isn't to just abandon these incredibly powerful tools. No way. It's all about cultivating a new set of skills so we can learn to think with AI, not just delegate everything to it.
These really are the new fundamentals. First, verification. We have to become relentless, expert-level fact-checkers. Second, integration. We need to master the art of turning that generic AI output into something that is uniquely ours. And third, stewardship. We have to learn how to be skilled directors of our AI tools, always remembering that we are the ones who are ultimately accountable for the final result.
So in the end, it's not really about whether AI will replace thinkers. It's about how the actual role of the thinker is evolving. As AI takes on more and more of the doing, our human value shifts to directing, validating, and owning the outcome. The future isn't about thinking less, it's about being challenged to think differently. And that's a challenge every single one of us is going to have to meet.